G'day, my name is Paul. I'm a musician, chaplain, pastor and former radio announcer, and Creating Communities have kindly invited me to come and share with these interviews and talk to some people who have some interesting stories in this current climate. And we're joined today by Emma Jarvis. Emma, you are the CEO of a drug and alcohol rehabilitation organisation. Tell us a bit about your COVID-19 response.
So Palmerston Association, we work with people who have drug and alcohol problems from Perth Metro, South West and Great Southern. In the West Australian State Pandemic Plan, people with alcohol problems are seen to be a vulnerable group. So we are an essential service. So our response is about business continuity. So we started with precautionary measures, but we're moving now towards telephone counselling, online counselling, and doing business continuity so that our residential rehabs, we've got reserve staff team available, so should someone get sick we can still run services because we want to keep serving the most vulnerable in our communities.
So what are some of the issues you're currently facing with COVID-19 with people having to stay indoors per se?
So I think one of the things that I worry about is the impact on client mental health. With social isolation, it's a lot harder to check in on somebody. So it's how we know that people are well, how we know they're continuing to work on their recovery plans. And with staff too are working from home, how we do that daily check-in to make sure that we're still a strong, vibrant team that communicates well.
And what are some of the things you think we can all do to stay healthy at the moment around, mental health?
I've been thinking a lot about resilience, and I think for all of us, we know what we need to do to stay well and healthy, but we don't necessarily do it. So I was talking to my family yesterday about things we're going to put in place to hold ourselves accountable. I often cycle to work. The reality that I'm going to get up at 5:30 in the morning and do a dummy ride to work and back isn't real. So what is real? Probably getting up and going for a walk before I sit at the desk at home, things like that. I think using online support and resources, but I've also been thinking a lot about meaningful connection because we can be around each other and our interactions can be transactional, but actually how we meaningfully connect in a conversation that makes a difference and impact on someone's life that day. I was talking to a staff member today who's been working from home for a week, and he's an introvert, so he likes being at home. He lives alone, but he's saying, I'm desperate to be around the team. I'm desperate to be around more people. So it's how we connect with him so he still feels part of the team, but remotely.
Yeah, and interesting you raised that. I saw someone break down at work today for the very thing. They've been working home for 2 weeks. So what do you do in a case like that?
So what we're doing is we're using Microsoft Teams, and at 11 o'clock every day we're doing a huddle. So a check-in, how are you going, what are you working on? And we're trying to make it fun, so, prize for best dressed. We're doing that, have you got pyjamas on? Silly hats, moustaches, things like that. We did a morning tea that we all dialed into today. So it's about being innovative, how we can genuinely connect, but also having the culture where I know that team member can phone and say, do you know what, I'm struggling today? And I can say, what can we do about that? Because we can still go for a walk along the beach, we can still do social distancing, so how we connect outdoors in a safe way, so you've still got the face-to-face piece.
Yeah. Emma, you mentioned you have a young family.
Yeah.
Would you encourage people to put even a plan in place for their families to try and get through working at home and schooling at home? So, because you know what can happen, we stay in our pyjamas and nothing happens.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that because I got home yesterday, my husband's working from home, my son's school shuts today and my daughter's school is still open. But there's stuff all over the kitchen table, the breakfast stuff is still in the breakfast bar. And I thought I'm gonna be a cow next week when I'm at home because I can't work in that setting, that environment. So I commenced the expectations conversation. What do we expect of each other? What routines can we put in place? And because I actually think the arguments are going to go up, everyone being around together, the kids can't just roll out of bed and rock up and do their online lessons. They need to do breakfast, they need to do the normal things. So it's laying it out at the start of the week. What do we all expect from each other? How do we work on the niggles before they become big fights? But also how are we gracious and kind? And how do we choose to lean in and recognise these are extraordinary measures and it's extraordinary time, but what can we learn from it? And how can we simplify our lives so they've actually got more meaning?
That's brilliant stuff. And so where do you suggest people can go if they need help?
Well, if you've got drug and alcohol concerns, you can certainly contact Palmerston, and we are delivering services to the best of our ability. There's lots of online support, so Lifeline if you've got significant mental health concerns. Talk to your friends, talk to your families, use online Skype groups. You know, my family, I've got a family in England, and we're going to do a quiz on Friday night. So it's doing the fun things to make connection. But I think it's think about the people in your life who you can have authentic conversations with and talk to them about what your triggers are and what questions they might ask you to invite conversations where you're real. Then if you need professional help, use the online support systems or call your GP surgery or call your online counselling services and ask for that help.
Yeah, that's good. What is your, to wrap it up, what is your Stronger Together tip?
For me, it's about meaningful connection. It's about choosing every day to think about the interactions I have so that they leave people feeling better and more whole at the end of them. I have a tendency to be head down, elbows out, let's get the job done, but actually taking the opportunity to pause and try and do things well. Particularly as a leader, you know, I need to model being calm, and I need to model being in control, and I can only do that if I keep myself healthy and well. So it's really practicing doing what I know to do to keep myself well and encouraging others to do the same.
Yeah, very good. Emma, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Paul.
It's been great to have you. Make sure we are stronger together, people, and that's it for today. Remember to join us on some of the discussions coming up. You'll find these on the Stronger Together website, and I look forward to chatting with you then. Make sure you stay strong, stay safe, continue to encourage each other, and remember to follow the government's advice around COVID-19.